1st, man. It's October. Happy Hump Day. Sports Fitness. How you doing?
Oh, yes. Once again, it's great to be back with my man, Nazar, video footage, AOH, like he said, with another Wednesday edition, man. And like he said, it's October 1st. October is, one of my favorite months because October is on my birthday. My birthday's October 14th. So shout out to any of the Libras out there. I'm a Libra. So once again, it's October 1st, man. Like I said, it's the fall, the changing of the seasons, the leaves are turning colors, man. It's a great time. The weather's always nice around the fall time. Shout out to everybody that continue to come through. Like I said, you guys are always here, man. The true supporters of our channel. I see Spectre Fantasy there. My man Dakona, Reed, Brock coming through as always. Top Dog. Hit'em's here. Of course, Renee's in the building. It's not, I always say the same thing. It ain't a show unless Renee's up in the chat, and you know they're going to be there. So once again, shout out to the Real Siberians, always there. Wes Warden, thank you very much. Callie Young, we got the Sports and Fitness Rants hater, loving it right now. Lone No 12 coming through. Thank you very much for the super chats. Also, Animaniac 89, a true supporter for a while now, man. Rod Day 125, Chase 1738, J Rockwell, Cruz NY to California. Shout out to all you guys, man. You guys know the deal, baby. Let's roll.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever said in your life, it smells like football?
I don't know if I've ever said that, man, but that's a great saying.
Where I grew up, when fall would come, the first hint of it in the air with the wind, it was like, it smells like football season.
Yeah, man, that's a great point. That's that October, that's that weather, the changing. Like I said, man, that's that football stuff. It's funny, like sometimes, what you're saying right now makes so much sense because sometimes you'll get a whiff of grass and I'll immediately think of like football season, playing out there on the field. So yeah, man, shout out to anybody that played football or, anytime you guys get a smell of something outdoors that may remind you of maybe something, maybe it reminds you of climbing trees or something. There's definitely a smell to football, like the smell of pads, you know what I'm saying? Like that, all that stuff.
It's the crisp, first hint of something crisp in the air that things are changing. It's not going to be the same old hot, it's not going to be the 2-a-days that you're suffering through. And by the end of the season, you're going to be freezing your ass off instead of cooking.
For real. That's another great point, AOH, man. You're bringing back some memories right now, man. That was the funny thing, too, about, playing sports back in the day, more specifically like around high school time, is, sometimes people would make the team, but they didn't necessarily play. And I remember, like, some of those high school games, like you're mentioning, some of those kids that didn't really get much playing time, they're on the sidelines freezing, man. And all of a sudden, they call your number, and you got to be ready to go in there, and you can't feel your fingers, you can't feel your toes.
I always said one of the worst feelings is having frozen fingers smashed between helmets.
Yeah.
Import says, just smelled cut grass today. Smelled like concussions and stank practice jerseys.
See, exactly. The jerseys, man. That's what I'm saying. You smell that stuff, man. I remember the pads.
The jerseys had a smell. Jerseys had a smell.
And the pads and the uniforms that I was wearing when I was in high school. I remember when I made the JV team, they were giving out the uniforms. And I remember looking at these things. I'm like, damn, these things are old, man. These things are like beat up. And they were the uniforms from like the 70s, man, that they still had. And like my man was saying, you could smell the football in those jerseys that was just baked into it.
I have some topics for today, but you were blowing my mind before we came on. I don't even know what you're talking about. You gotta, I can't keep up. Catch us up. Maybe I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure I knew all of the new bullshit that you were telling me.
Yeah, so once again, shout out to everybody that's coming through the chat. King Shy Solomon, I see you. DAK, what's going on? Tyler Jennings, what's good, man? Thank you all you guys for coming through. Drink Blood Drummer, shout out to you for the Drink Blood Drummer for coming through. So you guys that follow my channel, you guys know the videos that I put out today. I put out like 4 videos today, and I believe 3 of them I want to say was about that live stream that we saw yesterday between LeBron James and Kai Cenat, the YouTuber, I think the Twitch streamer. I think he's really big, on those platforms, or especially I believe Twitch is what he's really big on. And he had some kind of like record, like a subscriber, or so he was like 1 million subscribers or something like that on Twitch or something. So he had this big show. He had a live stream. and LeBron James went there. And I guess they were promoting it as LeBron James was going to be there and Kai Cenat was going to cut his hair, right? And I guess LeBron James was going to be there while he's cutting his hair and all this kind of stuff. And,
cutting his hair.
Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff. And I believe the live stream was like a little bit over an hour. And during the live stream, we all had a laugh because once again, LeBron James puts himself out there in a shoot-around scenario, and he's out there taking these ill-advised three-point shots. And I wasn't counting like I was doing that day in the China thing. I was really counting that one hard. But off my rough estimate, I want to say he went 4 for 15. I want to say it was 4 for 15. Someone told me in the chat that it was 5 for 18. So maybe that's what it was closer to. All I know is this man bricked like 8 shots in a row. And it was so cringe at one point because one of the guy's friends, this guy Kai Cenat, has a whole bunch of other guys there, right? And one of the other guys was like, 3, 2, 1, LeBron. And LeBron would shoot it, clang. 3, 2, 1, LeBron. Clang. And this happened like 3 or 4 times in a row. And eventually the guy just stopped doing the countdown.
How does LeBron not learn? It's amazing.
Exactly. I was wondering why he was taking so many threes. The same thing we were wondering in China. Like, dude, why are you chucking all these threes up? That's not your game. That's not what you do.
Callie Young says, been working and staying plugged in with my San Francisco 49ers. I had to stop by the show and give some love. And yeah, Sunday wasn't great. Those guys, thank God for McCaffrey getting into the end zone one. So they just can't seem to get it in the fucking end zone. Anyway.
I mean, don't get me started, AOH, because between the Yankees last night blowing the game to the Red Sox, where's Aaron Judge once again? No show in the postseason, no RBIs, no home runs, and the Yankees lose last night, and because they blow it. Now they got their backs against the wall when they should be not even in this position. Number one, but don't get me started on New York. If we're talking about the New York Giants, the New York Giants won their first game last week. Shout out to the Giants for beating the Chargers, who are a quality team. But in the process, they lost their best player, Malik Neighbors, to a devastating ACL tear. So he's done for the season. So once again with the Giants, more bad luck for the Giants. And the Giants, to me, they were done after they lost those 2 divisional games to the Redskins and the Cowboys.
Sorry to hear that. Oh, hey, a little random note since I keep seeing Terminator peeking out back there. I don't know if it's your fault, but the TV suggested it to me, so I watched that for free. I was like, that's, so I think I had this memory that it was like a low budget thing that did well anyway. It's actually pretty darn well made.
You know what's funny? The Terminator was on last night in my area. It was on last night. I was flipping around and I saw it on and I landed on it. And my son was sitting on the couch, right? And my wife was there. And, my daughter's never around for this stuff because she's always in her room. She's a teenager. She don't come out of her room. But so my son is sitting on the couch. And it was the scene where he was, he was like taking his eyeball out because he had the thing, an injury to the eye, whatever.
That part was terrible.
In the apartment there. And my son saw that part with the eye, and he's like, that's the Terminator? And I was like, yeah, that's the Terminator right there, man. He's like, I didn't know it was that nasty. He was like, damn, that's crazy, Dad. I was like, yo, man, it's the Terminator right there.
It's the Terminator. That's all there is to it. Somebody who said, Sarah Connor. Yeah, I was going to say, times are different because Linda Hamilton was not a young-looking person while she was a young person.
Yo, AOH, you know what's funny? You just said that. Same scenario. I'm watching the Terminator last night, right? And my son's sitting there, and he sees Linda Hamilton. It was a scene where they're under the tunnel, right? Her and Reese are under the bridge. They're hiding out in the little tunnel bridge area, right? And they're both leaning up against the wall. And my son says, "Hey, Dad, is that Larry Bird?" And I was like, "No, that's Linda Hamilton."
Oh my God!
Like he was messing around a little bit, but I started laughing. I was like, "Larry Bird." And he's like, yeah, is that a boy? And I was like, no, that's a woman. I was like, her name is Linda Hamilton. I was like, and she's a badass, man. Linda Hamilton was gangster in Terminator 2. She was doing pull-ups. She was doing the pump shotgun with one hand. Come on, man. That's gangster stuff right there, man. For a woman, man, she was killing it.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything else mean about her. Great movies. I'll move on.
Larry Bird.
There we go. I'm going to talk about Larry Bird. I had to pull up the old video I did talking about how Larry Bird backdated his contract because he didn't feel okay taking money that he knew he wasn't going to be able to perform for. So he didn't get paid. And it's just hard not to think about that in this day and age. You think about the people with the insane contracts who don't play. They're just stealing money. I just got to think how far we've changed just in terms of men being men. Forget the athletic part, but like the idea that you're comfortable taking money without providing. I mean, the concept of being uncomfortable with that is gone. Like, I don't know who can even relate to that. Like the Larry Bird story, I'm guessing that young people listen to it and are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No.
People are proud now. People are proud now about, oh, look at my bank account. Look at my contract. I don't do anything, but look how rich I am. It's like, if it used to be that if you hadn't earned it, you didn't have a sense of pride that came along with it. And this is my old head topic to open up the bitching with.
Yeah, no, AOH. I mean, listen, you're right again, and it's we talk about the relatability sometimes, with some of the athletes and the generations and some of these people and we talk about how some of these people are acting. You're talking about Larry Bird, man, and shout out to old school NBA fan for getting admitted into college. Shout out to you, and congratulations. Shout out to my man Go Fly, the real E Leezy, King Speechro. I see you guys out there. When you're talking about someone like Larry Bird, and we're talking about some of these great athletes, that's what separates them. We say this all the time. That's why the LeBron James fans, there's nowhere for them to go because we say it all the time. It's not when you talk about the great players. It's beyond the accolades and the stats. It's beyond that. It has to be something else. What else is there? There's got to be something else. And when you talk about Larry Bird and players like Larry Bird, the people of that ilk, you're talking about a very few select basketball players and athletes overall, man. The people that carry themselves with that level of integrity, like you said, a certain sense that, an obligation where, listen, these people are going to pay me this kind of money. People are going to come out here and spend their time trying to come watch me. Then I'm obligated to go out here and do something. I'm obligated for the effort. A word like obligation doesn't get brought up much these days, but it's a powerful word when you think about what it means. And I always think about how Michael Jordan's trainer, Tim Grover, used to always say the same thing. Michael Jordan felt an obligation to the people that would come out, the fans. That's why I tell people to this day, Michael Jordan don't owe me a goddamn thing. He owes me nothing. He didn't owe me a hug. He didn't owe me a handshake if I saw him walking down the street or I was trying to put my hand out when he was walking by in the basketball court. He don't owe me an autograph. He don't owe me a free pair of sneakers. He don't have to be nice to me. He owes me nothing but to go out on the basketball court and give the damn effort. That's what he owes the people. That's what he owes the game. And it's that simple. These people don't seem to get that. Larry Bird felt that sense to go out there. That's why the man ran himself into the ground and played through pain, intense pain.
They played harder and got paid less. And I'm gonna make fun of your boy Sports and Fitness Rants hater for a moment, talking shit about the old games because I saw something pop up. I didn't finish watching it, but I saw the first minutes of it, and it's a young kid waking up to how good the game used to be, and he's blown away by the pace. He's like, God damn, these guys are already down the court. They're already heading back, and it's all of them. And really, I watched them, but even when I go back after watching today's games, I'm like, God damn, this is fast paced. I think today's players, whether they have muscles or not, would die of heart attacks. That's sorry, man. I don't understand you cult members who keep your eyes closed for the sake of continuing to believe a lie. But I don't know. Some people are telling me to block you, and I don't need your trash on here. You're either going to go wake up on your own, but this isn't the place for your stupidity.
Yo, but I see, and the funny thing is that, like I said, there's a reason why someone like that is here. Because, like I said, there's value to what we talk about here. They can say that we talk about LeBron James all the time. That's not just what we talk about here. Because we're not just talking about LeBron James and laughing at video footage. but we're comparing him to other great NBA players. We're comparing him to grown men and how grown men are supposed to act, to how professionals are supposed to act. So what we're doing is teaching people and giving people insight and perspective here is that how they should conduct themselves, or how they should expect their athletes to conduct themselves anyways. That's why I tell people, if you don't hold LeBron James to any standards, what did that say about you? Because you guys just don't care. You're just going to make excuses. Do you make excuses in your life every single day? Because I tell people all the time, if you're looking for an excuse, then you're definitely going to find one. It's everywhere, man. It's
Exactly.
under the rock, man. It's behind the door. It's in your sock drawer. It's everywhere you look, man. There's an excuse right there at the ready. So people need to stop acting like that.
Let's spend the rest of the show propping each other up, talking about what we could have done, Robin. There's no value in this shit, people. And in terms of right? In terms of this being the most skilled era, I mean, I don't think it is. They don't even play by the rules because of the lack of skills. But the fact that you have to say that nowadays to feel better about yourselves, where nobody used to say, I don't remember anyone saying, oh, they're more skilled now, back when we were just purely enjoying the game. You know, this is a product of the LeBron James effect. You want to believe something that isn't true, so you have to tell more lies to help the other lie that lie is based upon.
You know, I remember, sometimes hearing some of the older players, like, in the 90s, let's say, for example, I remember hearing guys like Bill Russells and, the Oscar Robertsons and, Will Chamberlain before he passed away. I remember hearing a lot of those players, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, a lot of the great players talking about the money, right? Talking about the money that the guys in the 90s were starting to make because of guys like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, right? These guys opening doors for some of these athletes, Dr. J, opening a lot of these doors for these guys to be endorsed. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about Dr. J often on here, once again, it's not just about the game that was transcended. This dude was a classy individual, class personified. He carried himself a certain way. So you could market Dr. J. He was a marketable individual, right? So when we talk about all of these things, a lot of these guys today, they don't have all of that. They're always worried about their brand. But who the hell are they to have a brand? They don't have no charisma. They don't have no swag. They carry themselves like a bunch of goofballs. So it's like, really, what are you building up for? You're not helping build the game, but you're worried about yourself. I mean, these guys are so worried about their own brand that they won't even do a slam dunk contest in case they lose. So they're like, hey, man, I don't want to do it, man, in case I lose. All of a sudden, man, I can't sell some sneakers or something. When in fact, you should be going out there and competing. That's how you will sell the sneakers. That's how you will build your brand, by being a competitor.
Tell me if this rings a bell for you. It was, I don't know, Gilbert Arena show or something about a Bill Laimbeer League. Does a Bill Laimbeer League mean anything to you?
No, I don't know if that is he like using like a saying or something to describe the 80s?
Yeah, it was something about that type of basketball, but whatever. I'll go look it up.
AOH, no, because remember, we've talked about this and we brought up this point. And what guys like Gilbert Arenas do when they try to make it about guys just fouling, because I'm going to assume here that if you're bringing up Bill Laimbeer and you're saying a Bill Laimbeer basketball league or Bill Laimbeer type basketball, then I'm assuming that you're trying to say this, dirty basketball or basketball where guys don't play basketball, they just foul you. So they'll say all the time, oh, these guys weren't playing defense. They were just fouling guys out there. Well, no, fouling was part of the game because the game was physical, but guys weren't just fouling to foul. They were fouling to send a message. And we talked about the message that they were sending. It puts it in the back of your mind because now what? You don't want to get hurt. Now you don't want to go down the lane. Look at these clowns today. Look at Anthony Edwards. The man said, I don't like dunking that much because it hurts my hand. You think he's going to want to go down there and get pounded by someone like Bill Laimbeer every single night or 6 games a year, year after year after year? You're going to want to deal with that punishment? No, you're not going to want to. So what would those guys do? They'll load men's against those tough teams. They'll load men's against those really hard physical guys. They won't show up to play. They might be like Scottie Pippen and get a migraine because they're thinking about Bill Laimbeer and the stress of going against them. You see what that does? You see what it does to your mental? Gilbert Arenas won't talk about this stuff. He don't know about that because he was never on that level.
And I think maybe they were trying to crap on the competition of the time. And here's the thing. The Pistons were a talented team, but they did play, borderline illegal basketball or just straight up illegal basketball. And maybe that's what they were focusing on, that part. Like, oh, it's just, thugs, imagine a league full of Bill Lambiers. And I'm thinking, imagine how big the tryout room is, how big the tryout line is, how big the draft class is. If all you have to do is be big and willing to hurt somebody. I mean, that's a lot of people. Professional athletes aren't just big. They are talented people, including the Detroit Pistons, no matter how dirty that they were. I mean, we can't, Isaiah Thomas was amazing. Dumars was amazing. Bill Lambier had an excellent jump shot.
Right. I laugh when we say another great point you made, AOH, Bill Lamber's ability at 6'10" to stretch the floor to center position in the 80s when they tell us guys couldn't do that. But I tell people all the time, when Michael Jordan tied that record in the 92 finals for threes in the first half, he tied it with two players, Michael Cooper and Bill Laimbeer. That was a record for threes in an NBA Finals game. Bill Laimbeer was tied for that record. And I remember they told Michael Jordan that, you tied Bill Laimbeer for most threes in a finals game. And he said, if I would have known I was tied with Bill Laimbeer, I would have really tried to break the record to not be tied with him.
I also have in my notes to talk about the Kuminga thing. And I know, you're on the opposite coast, but we'll tie it in. We'll tie it in to the Lakers, because I'm also seeing content creators talk about the Lakers roster and hype about the Lakers roster, or that the Lakers roster sucks. Apparently Kendrick Perkins is already saying, big things, and same old shit, hey, they're going to do this. And then when they don't, it's everyone else's fault, and it doesn't fall on LeBron somehow. But starting with Kuminga, because apparently it's sort of kind of resolved. Would you want him on your team? You want somebody on your team who hasn't really shown that they really want to be there? Like, it would make me feel a little bit concerned about whether or not they're going to give 100% when it matters, when they've spent the entire offseason, bitching about contract details.
Yeah, this is a shout to Uncut Hoops in the chat. I see him there for coming through. He says LeBron already injured before game 1. That's the facts. But when we talk about the Jonathan Kuminga stuff, like I said, it's tough to comment on situations like this from the outside, because we're talking about, how the other players feel about Jonathan Kuminga. I can't speak for these guys. I don't know how Steph Curry feels about him. I don't know how any of these guys feel about him in the locker room. I'm pretty sure we would know how Draymond Green feels about him, because normally Draymond Green lets you know how he feels about somebody. But, they might respect him. They might really like this kid. So I'm not going to say that they shouldn't welcome him back, but I will say this. If I was him and if I was his teammate, I would expect him to be on his P's and Q's, number one. But I would also expect this man to be out there hustling. You better be going out and practicing and giving that damn effort, man. You better be showing up to work. You better not be playing no games, no lollygagging, none of this stuff. You're supposed to be in the prime of your life right now. You want all this money. You want to hold out. You want to act like you're this, and that people need you over here, and then you better go out there and prove it.
Yep. And I see the comments coming about Steve Kerr. I don't know how much success or failure of the Warriors to put on Steve Kerr. It's hard to tell from a fan's perspective exactly how the coach is impacting. But he doesn't want to go with big guys, which brings me to the teammates thing. I know some people are, questioning DeAndre Ayton, but I had to ask you. I got to ask you. Would you rather have Al Horford or DeAndre Ayton right now?
Oh, give me Al Horford, man. Absolutely, man. Listen, I don't care. Listen, Al Horford is old. A lot of people don't realize Al Horford been around for a long time, man. For a long time.
He's only 6'10", too. 6'9" or 10, too.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. So shout out to Al Horford for continuing to play all this time. He doesn't really get any recognition for being being in the league that long. But give me Al Horford, definitely. And this is not to say that DeAndre Ayton doesn't have an upside to him, but we're still waiting for DeAndre Ayton to be DeAndre Ayton that we saw in college for that flash. So for
Yeah.
me, Al Horford is much more proven. I can guarantee, or not guarantee, but I could depend on him more to be there. I told you, I don't even doubt that DeAndre Ayton's going to play more than 60 games this year. I highly doubt that. I'll be astounded if he plays more than 50 games, DeAndre Ayton. That's his problem. He can't stay on the court. So give me Al Horford.
All right. Anyone else? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean,
What's
shout to King Sean Solomon says, been in the NBA since he was 9. I don't know how old you are now, but he's been in the NBA for a minute, Al Horford. Remember, he was a national champion at Florida in college. Al Horford has been around for a minute.
okay? Would you take Buddy Hield over Luka?
Buddy Hield over Luka Doncic?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Okay. Now here's where it gets a little weird, because in terms of their physical ability, we know who you're going to choose, but in terms of what they've shown on the floor, that's a different story. You taking Reeves or Kuminga?
I gotta go with Reeves. Reeves is proven. I feel like Kuminga has the upside. I feel like Kuminga has, like I said, that's what we're talking about. What's Kuminga? He got to be on the court. You guys show me say he needs more playing time. If he was getting Austin Reeves playing time, then maybe we can say, hey, Jonathan Kuminga's that dude. But I told you, Austin Reeves gets so much pump and gets so much playing time and gets so many shot opportunities that Stephen A. Smith last season called him the best third option in the NBA. And I made a video about that.
I remember.
No one's saying Jonathan Kuminga is the best third option in the NBA.
So Draymond Green or Marcus Smart?
Who?
Draymond Green or Marcus Smart?
Oh, I'm going with Draymond Green.
Even though Marcus Smart is younger.
Marcus Smart has injury issues. Once again, I always look at the injury issues first. And someone like Marcus Smart, even though we know Draymond Green has head issues, he's a head case, and he will sabotage your team. But he does the right amount of sabotaging. They know about his sabotaging on Golden State. They're used to his sabotaging over there. To me, Marcus Smart is a guy that think about the guys the Lakers picked up. They picked up DeAndre Ayton or Marcus Smart, some other guys. These guys have injury problems. They just don't. Are they going to be there? I don't know.
Yeah. Although Bogut had injury problems before Golden State picked him up, and it worked for 1 year, and then it didn't work the next year.
I mean, I won't be able to understand something. Marcus Smart, and there's no knock on Marcus Smart, man. He's a solid player. But Marcus Smart won a Defensive Player of the Year award in this era, guys. Listen to what I just said. Marcus Smart won a Defensive Player of the Year award in this era. All right, and that's no disrespect to him because he is a scrappy defensive player. But that man's not sniffing a Defensive Player of the Year award in the 80s or the 90s, man. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. That's insane.
No, but if we're comparing to other rosters right now, then you still have to acknowledge that he got that Defensive Player award over other players that are playing right now. So that just makes them sound even worse.
Well, that's what I'm highlighting. How weak like I said, Rudy Gobert got 4. He got 4 because who else is going to give it to? That's basically where we're at now. Oh, I guess it's Rudy Gobert again. Who are we going to give it to? Let's give it to LeBron James for not making it across the half court in 80% of the games this season. I mean, who are they going to give it to? Jaren Jackson Jr.? I mean, Evan Mobley won it last year. Great for Evan Mobley, man, because damn, Rudy Gobert every season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to have the time to go back and watch Rudy Gobert just to try and understand how he won those awards, but it makes me curious because I don't see it.
I mean, Draymond Green won Defensive Player of the Year award, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have won one. He's a solid player. What he does for the Golden State Warriors is great, man. He's great for that team. But Draymond Green thinks that his defense and his game would translate to any team. He thinks that he's one of those transcendent defensive players. You're not, my man. What you do on the Warriors works for the Warriors. Great. Do you guys think that Draymond Green could be a point forward in the 90s? Come on, man. He's not on that level.
Barista or LeBron James?
Oh, man. I mean, I, I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. I mean, barista or LeBron James. I mean, come on, man. The dude was selling coffee in the bubble. Come on.
Okay, Curry,
Listen.
Curry or LeBron James.
Oh, give me Curry all day, man. It's Steph Curry all day long over LeBron James.
Obviously. Okay, so just to bring it back, since I'm
Okay.
doing this teammate thing, just to have people put this into perspective, you took Horford over Ayton. You took Green over Smart.
Yes.
But then you took Reeves over Healed, and you took who else did you take? You took obviously you took Luka over
Yes.
Kuminga.
Yes.
So as bad as the Lakers supposedly are, as of right now, it's a wash until you put up the superstars.
I mean, you didn't
And
mention Rui Hachimura.
oh, that's right. I mean, here's the thing: the Warriors lost people in order to get the roster that they have. I'm not so sure that the Lakers lost very much.
See, wait, a great point that you always make is you talk about that there's no accountability or consequences. And I'm talking about as far as someone like Kendrick Perkins that you mentioned. And Kendrick Perkins just recently came out and said that he expects or he wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers were in the finals. He put them on the same level as the OKC Thunder, the Houston Rockets, and perhaps the Denver Nuggets as the top teams in the West. So, like you said, I asked you this. Is anyone hyping up the Warriors every year? No one ever talks about these guys. No one pumps up Steph Curry and his team. No one's like, hey, man, Steph. And then what I tell you, last year to me, the Warriors had a chance to end up in the Western Conference Finals last year because of Steph Curry, not because of Draymond Green or for the barista or any of these other guys, Jonathan Kuminga. No, it's because what Steph Curry does on the court, man, which allows Steve Kerr to do what he does, which allows all these guys to do what they do. So when we say all of that, man, and we talk about, a team like the Los Angeles Lakers and how they're pumped up. They're going to pump them up, Lakers in five. They won't do that. And then, like you said, there'll be no consequences for someone like Kendrick Perkins. He can just rewrite it, set the clock back to next season and say the same crap up again next year. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
LeBron's last year, man. They're going to go out there and give him a championship. They're going to win 60 games.
Yeah, like I said last week, there aren't any consequences. I say it every week. There's no consequences. Run your mouth without consequences. It's not a very fun world to live in.
No.
Real Siberius. Seth Curry is on the Warriors now, apparently. Oh, great. That's
Yeah,
what
I
they
saw
need.
that. Yeah, I saw it this morning. Yup.
Are they allergic to getting someone big? The real Siberius. Gobert having 4 defensive player. Oops. Come back here. Gobert having 4 DPOYs has discredited the validity of the award. That puts him in the same lane as Dikembe Mutombo and Ben Wallace. That is insane. Yes, that's insane. And LeBron James's MVPs has disqualified that.
That's a great point by the real Siberius. And that's the problem because when you go back now, and like I said, let's say someone just went back into the history books right now. And some kids like, hey, Dad, who has the most defensive player of the year awards in the history of the NBA? And then you go back in the books. The father goes through the pages. He blows the dust off the pages, the annals of the NBA's history. You go through all the names of the great defensive players that have ever played this game. They've been giving out the awards since the 80s. You go through all the names, and you come up with Ben Wallace, Dikembe Mutombo, and Rudy Gobert. That's what you come up with. They're the most. It's insane. It's like when you think about the slam dunk contest. Hey, Dad, who has the most slam dunk contest wins? You go through the history of the NBA, a prestigious event like the slam dunk contest. You dig through the names. And what do you come up with? You come up with Nate Robinson and Matt McClung. These are the names that you come up with. You've destroyed the integrity of those great awards and the great players that went out there and did their thing.
Hey, I'm not gonna put Nate Robinson in the same conversation as McClung. At least he was a pro basketball player.
Yes. Nate Robinson's a great athlete, man. But when you go back, that's the greatest dunker of all time according to the slam dunk titles.
No, obviously not. So, give me some more details about the fake injury.
So, what I reported, I didn't report, what I saw ESPN put out yesterday, and I put a post up, a screenshot of the article, was that LeBron James had an aggravated glute. That's what they called it, an aggravated glute. I don't know what that means. I've been playing sports my whole life, y'all. My whole life, guys. And I don't know what they're talking about, man. They make up injuries that don't make any sense. Because what they do is they'll say that LeBron James has an injury that what's the word I'm looking for here? You can't quantify it. You can't really say how good or bad the injury is. It's always one of those things like, oh, they just got to wait and see. He might need to rest it, or, it's up to LeBron James, He's got the Wolverine healing ability, but we never see it come into effect.
Glute irritation. I doubt if they said that, but I'll put it up anyway.
I think that's what it was called. It might have actually been irritation. I think that actually might have been the exact word. Glute irritation. Now think about that, AOH. We all know what the glute is, right? We can all laugh and make a joke. We all know what the glute is, but glute irritation, what's going on back there?
Can they even narrow it down to the minimus, medius, or maximus? No, it's just generic. When's the he ever?
Think about it. When I'm talking about, you can't quantify this. When you say glute aggravation or irritation, think about what that means. That possibly means that you could have a hemorrhoid. That means that you could have a pulled glute muscle. I mean, it's a broad spectrum of what it could be. That's what I'm saying. They won't give you an actual injury. They'll never say, oh, LeBron James tore a hamstring or pulled a hamstring. Or they'll say, oh, LeBron's got a sore groin. He aggravated his groin. He aggravated the groin. Never pulled it or tore it. He just aggravated it because he needs to come up with an excuse to just sit out. Remember last year, he disappeared for 8 days. 8 days, they didn't know where LeBron James was.
I can't think of a single injury LeBron James has supposedly had that you could, as you say, quantified. Anything that was tangible, anything that you could see on an X-ray, even a torn tendon. They didn't show us any evidence. That's something that you should be able to see. You should be able to show us this. Yep. We never saw that. In fact, we never even heard from an actual doctor. We had to hear from LeBron's mouth about someone named the LeBron James of feet that no one even knows where this person is. That's weird, man. That's some weird shit.
Exactly, man. Like I said, he says weird things. I mean, could you imagine Larry Bird saying, yeah, I was dealing with these bone spurs my whole career, but I went and saw the Larry Bird of foot doctors, and he was like, Larry, you know what? You got the amazing healing ability of Wolverine, Larry. I've never seen anyone like you, Larry. You're amazing genetics. Can you imagine Larry Bird saying that? I mean, how corny and weird and cringy is this stuff, man? I mean, my God.
In a way, LeBron's longevity is a black man. He played with no effort for years just to keep playing. A black mark.
Right. That's a great point by Yalzabag for coming through. Because when we say, yeah, you want to play half-ass for 25 years, by all means, my man, go ahead and knock yourself out, man. Ain't no one impressed with this stuff.
Yeah. I went off on this for a while when KD came on the podcast and bragged about, playing for 23 years. We don't need to see you steal from us for 23 years.
When I first came on YouTube, before I had made any content, I was, just channels were popping up on my feed because of the videos that I was looking at. Like I tell you all the time, you were popping up, other guys were popping up. I remember that this guy popped up. What's his name? The big guy. Oh damn, man, why can't I remember his channel right now, man? What's the dude's name? Jimmy High Roller, right? Now I remember a video of his popped up, and I was like, "Oh man, I'll check this guy's video out." And I can't remember exactly if it was like a direct comparison, LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a LeBron, Michael Jordan type of video. And it was like a 35-minute video. It was a long video, and I watched the whole video, man. And I remember towards the end, Jimmy High Roller, the way that he broke it down and tried to illustrate the difference between what LeBron James was doing and what Michael Jordan did, is he made a comparison to a candle. And what he said is that LeBron James' candle was burning almost as bright as Michael Jordan's, but for twice as long. And I started laughing. I was like, So what you're saying is that Michael Jordan's candle burned brighter than LeBron James, but just by a little bit. But LeBron James burned twice as long. And ever since I heard that, I was immediately turned off to Jimmy High Roller and the nonsense. Because my man, it's insane for you to say that LeBron James' candle just burned a little bit less bright than Michael Jordan when we see LeBron James stand on the other side of the court, flopping, load managing, not doing a damn thing in clutch time, doing less with more. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. I can't believe you said that. I mean, clearly Jordan's candle burned brighter. And yes, it was for a shorter period of time, but he accomplished way more in a shorter period of time. So you have to conclude that it burned way brighter. But I was going to go with LeBron's didn't burn steadily for longer. He gets to put the candle out whenever he wants to and then come back and relight. It's like, oh, look, I'm still going. No one pay attention that I go and put a wick on it and, chill out for a few days whenever the fuck I want to. Sometimes I don't even bother to light the candle while I'm on the court, but let's just pretend that I'm always burning brightly and steadily.
Right. And I don't think that was a very accurate comparison like you just mentioned, AOH.
Wow.
Once again, you think Larry Bird was going out there at 70% effort, 70% speed, hoping that he could play 20 years maybe one day? Larry Bird was out there giving it his all. I mean, the man was literally known for being gritty. That's what he was known for. Does anyone think that LeBron James is known for being gritty? Come on, man.
The only time I see LeBron hit the ground is when he's flopping or trying to injure somebody.
Exactly. Great point, AOH. Throwing illegal screens. Like doing all this nonsense, like I said, playing peekaboo on the floor, looking for scrapes on his arm when there's nothing there. Larry Bird didn't have time. Yo, Larry Bird and the guys like I'm gonna keep bringing up Larry Bird because you brought up Larry Bird at the beginning of the live. We're gonna keep going back to Larry Bird, man. We're gonna keep referring to Larry Bird. It's a Larry Bird day right now. When I think about guys like Larry Bird, man, Larry Bird reminds me of Jesse Ventura from the movie Predator. You remember that scene from the movie Predator, right? When they got all these guys surrounding them, right? They're fighting against those drug dealers in the woods and stuff, right? And they're all going nuts. It's one of the great scenes in Predator, right? And there's a scene where him and Pancho are standing under the overhang thing, right? And this guy's got a pin down, to bleed. Right? And he says to him, he's like, yo, man, you're hit. You're bleeding. He says, I ain't got time to bleed, man. One of the great lines in American movie history. I ain't got time to bleed. You all have said that, and you all remember it. That's Larry Bird and people like Larry Bird. They ain't got time for this BS. They ain't got time to be flopping around. They ain't got time to be worried about maybe playing 20 years and going half-ass. They ain't got time for none of that stuff.
You got time to duck.
That's right. Shout out to the movie Predator, man.
Boy, have they shit on that franchise.
Yes. Well, they tied it into the aliens, and it's gone like a lot of movies.
Yeah, I mean when you take Predator and Alien and still fuck it up, shame on you. That's not
Aliens
enough.
2 is one of my favorite, one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my life. It got so many great lines. A shout to Bill Paxton. Rest in peace of Bill Paxton, man. When he got, one of the great scenes, man, when he's freaking out, when the aliens got him surrounded, man. He's like, we're going to die, man. He was freaking out. And they had to grab him. Calm down.
Game over, man.
Game over, man. Oh, goodness gracious, man. I love Aliens 2, man. Great. I guess it's called Aliens, not Aliens 2, man.
Aliens, right.
Yeah.
But Bill Paxton was in Terminator at the very beginning. It was one of the punks.
Yes, that's right.
And the reason I mention that is because also Michael Biehn was in Aliens and was the main character in Terminator.
Yo, that's a great tie-in, man. 6 degrees of separation right there. That's true. And I liked his characters also in the Aliens movie. I liked his character.
Yeah.
I like the sergeant too, man. The sergeant was great. The black dude in the beginning, man. Sergeant Apone.
Smoking with the cigar.
Yeah, Sergeant Apone, man. That dude was great, man. Assholes and elbows, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, man.
Didn't he come out of hypersleep with the cigar?
That's right. He was ready. He had the hat, man. I love that scene in the beginning, man, when he got everybody moving. I might have to watch that movie tonight, man. I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little nostalgic.
You ever been mistaken for a woman? No, have you? All right, we're all over the place.
It's the great lines, though, man.
I kind of want to shit on Stephen A. Smith, but I'll be in such bad mood by the time the show's over. I don't know if I even want to go there.
Go ahead, man. Come on, let's roll with it, AOH.
All right. So before everybody shits their pants about this starting to cross the political line, I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm going to talk about the absurdity of Stephen A. Smith and apparently being a presidential candidate. But we'll go back to what I talked about at the beginning of this and what it means to be a man and what manner of man have we become. Because what was the reason that I heard in that soundbite that Stephen A. Smith said, nah, I don't want to be president? What was the reason? Not going to pay him enough. I don't think that's who you want as president. When that's the reason he doesn't want to be president, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not enough of a warning sign?
You know what's crazy, man? It's like this is where we're at now in society. Like I said, someone like Stephen A. Smith really thinks that he could run for the presidency. Like someone told him in his ear behind closed doors, yo, man, you'd be great for president. You'd be great as a politician. Who the hell's voting for Stephen A. Smith? I remember years ago, them talking about, they should allow Arnold Schwarzenegger to run for president. But, he wasn't born in America, so that was always going to stop him. Remember, he was the governor. But I remember people talking about that. Oh, they should allow Arnold Schwarzenegger to run for president, man. This is where we were at certain points of society. I remember them talking about Oprah Winfrey running for president. Oh, let's get Oprah out there. I remember a couple of years back, and there's no joke. I remember this maybe, 4 years ago or so, what it was, maybe a little bit longer. I remember them trying to get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to run for president and him actually considering it. This is where we're at in society. And all this makes me think about the movie Head of State with Chris Rock. And, where you get to a point where it's like, maybe an everyday commoner should run for president. Maybe just an everyday person should run for president. Maybe someone who can galvanize the people out there, man. That makes sense. That, like I said, stands on certain principles and values, like I said, that will earn the respect of the people out there. Maybe we need a commoner, a Robin Hood type person.
Well, then you got to look in the mirror at the country then, because Ronald Reagan was an actor. I think Schwarzenegger could have gotten it if they hadn't had that rule. I mean, I just think that's, yeah. I mean, Trump's main claim to fame was reality television, right?
Right. I mean, so think about that. When it's funny. I remember my mother a couple of years ago, she was going through some old stuff that she had, from when we were kids. And she came across a book report, not a book report, a report that I did in school. I can't remember what grade I was in, maybe like third or fourth grade, something like that, I want to say. It was like the mid to late 80s or something. And the reason why she showed it to me is because the report that I did was on Barack Obama when he was a law student. And I did a book report on him. And my mom thought that was really funny that I did a report on Barack Obama when he was a law student back in the 80s when I was in school, and then he ended up becoming president. So we had a laugh about that, man. And when you think about some of these people that have been, politicians, and I tell you, to me, politicians are weird individuals because their job is to basically be disingenuous. Their job is to basically lie and tell you what you want to hear more often than not. They're not really there to give you the truth of the facts. And I learned a lot of that when I was in the military because I know a lot of the things that we were seeing on the news, it wasn't really what we were doing when we were over there and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand this.
Paxson was an Independence Day. Not sure about that one. I didn't say Paxson was an Independence Day. He was one of the punks at the beginning.
Bill Pullman was an Independence Day.
Yeah. Did I accidentally say Pullman?
No, you
or
said
did they mishear me?
Oh, maybe. Okay. I don't know.
He was very, very briefly at the beginning of Terminator with the 3 dudes that got killed.
Yes. Yup. He was one of like the punk rocker guys. Yeah.
And then he was in Weird Science as Chet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know what, man? All this president talk, I'm gonna run for president, man. Sports and fitness rants and AOH, we running for president. You're gonna be my vice president, and we're gonna have sports and fitness rants hater as our spokesperson out here on the microphone. We're gonna run for office, president and vice president. Everyone come out and support. We run it on independent line. Like I said, I don't believe in politics. I don't know politics. I don't know policy. I'm running off common sense. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be the Chris Rocks of the election.
Real Siberius, can I email you guys an idea for a live topic? You don't need my permission. The premise is having a divided fan base is terrible for the NBA. If you aren't interested, no worries. Yeah, I mean, send it.
And speaking of that topic, I think also having a stupid fan base is terrible for the NBA. An uninformed and uneducated fan base is terrible for the NBA. And that's what we're getting from a lot of these new age fans because of the media that they're listening. I mean, think about it. A lot of these reporters now, they're younger than me, way younger than us, man. And these guys don't know what they're talking about, but they're supposed to be educating the people. When we was going back in the day watching this stuff, you actually got educated because the guys would, like I said, they were fans of the game, they understood the game, and they were once again trying to uplift the game. Now they keep trying to tell us the guys back in the day weren't that good.
Anyway, thank you for the super, Siberius. Twister, yes. Paxson was in Twister too. Take it. Another topic. Otherwise, I'm gonna close this off nice and tight with this Hump Day rant session.
Let's go to 5:30 exactly.
Okay. Lead us.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, we can continue what we're continuing, man, what we're talking about. When we're talking about the uninformed fans, a division amongst the fans, which is not helping the game, it's not uplifting the game. This is part of the problem for the popularity of the sport. Because, like we said, when these guys are saying stuff, and I tell you all the time, when Nick Wright tells you, Shannon Sharp, a lot of these guys are telling you, it doesn't add up to what you see in the video footage. So when they're trying to clown the guys in the past, it's not making them look good because when people look at the video footage, they're like, what are these guys talking about? That's why I tell people all the time, if you go and do your research, you go and do the homework, you actually listen to people who know the game, true historians, people who look into this stuff, then you'll see that it's an absolute joke what they're telling you today. It's not accurate. I remember when I was young, they would always show old clips, right? And I remember them always showing these old clips of the Boston Celtics. Because remember, and I'm growing up in the 80s and the 90s, the 60s isn't that far off. So they're showing a lot of the history that wasn't really that long ago. And I remember them showing Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor and Jerry West and Oscar Robertson, right? And Bob Cousy and George Mike. They would show all these great players. They would talk and mention these guys. And I never once thought looking at that video footage when they would show us the clip of, have the check stole the ball, have the check stole the ball. I never once thought looking at that video footage, look at these guys. Look at these bums. Look at these plumbers. These guys ain't playing basketball. What is this nonsense? Look at how they dribble. I never once thought that. We always wondered why they played the game that way. We didn't laugh at them for playing the game that way. And when you ask why, it allows you to open yourself up to get educated on why.
The question why is very important. It's very powerful. You have to first ask before you can begin learning. You have to be interested in learning. And if you ask the question why, you're showing that you might just be interested in learning. And, I use this in the other fields that I work in, but it applies all over the place. The question why leads to a lot of understanding.
Right. And that's why a lot of the times there's a divide now. And you hear people say, oh, old heads. And you laugh when you hear people say old heads. And I laugh. I say, I'm not old. My father is old. I'm not old. But the divide there is what the real Siberius is talking about. You have the older generation of basketball fans, right? The people who consider themselves, I always say, the true basketball fans, because what we grew up watching was basketball. So all the people out there that watched the 80s, hell, people that were watching basketball in the 60s and the 70s before I even was around, they understand what we're talking about here. It's a certain standard that we're talking about that's not being held any longer.
I'm taking another look at the Warriors roster since we talked about that a little bit. Trace Jackson Davis, I'd like to see him play a little bit more often. Again, he's not particularly big, but he's got bounce. Gary Payton, too. I like him, but again, very, very small. Who's Taron Armstrong?
That beats me.
Anyone?
But see, these are the guys that Steph Curry will have going. That's all we know. As long as you got Steph Curry there, then you're going to be all right. You can't say the same thing for LeBron. I told you guys when we did the live stream the other day, Steph Curry was plus 299 last season. Plus 299. LeBron James was like negative 60 or something like that. Negative 54. Like, come on, man. Not even close. And Steph Curry wasn't playing with Anthony Davis all year. And then Luka Doncic.
We still have Pat Spencer, so there's always hope.
Yeah, and you got, what's his name, right? You still got Quentin Post?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if Quentin Post continues to develop. And, not to hate on Pat Spencer. It's just a little bit funny, though.
Yeah, like I said, we want to see some of these guys do something, develop into something, man. A Quentin Post is the kind of guy that, someone like Steph Curry, like these are the kind of guys you hope will come in next season, like you said, and make a big jump. And all of a sudden, like, damn, we weren't expecting this guy to make this leap. That's what these guys need to do. Steph Curry's in the last years of his career. He ain't got much left.
Well, they brought back Jackson Hayes, even though their coach thought he was unplayable in the playoffs. That doesn't make very much sense.
Yeah.
Jared Vanderbilt's back. I got to tell you, I wouldn't mind Jared Vanderbilt being on the Warriors with his length. That's not a small dude. 6'8", 214.
Yeah. And when you play with LeBron James, you don't get noticed or talked about.
They're keeping Gabe Vincent. They've got Marcus Smart, Austin Reeves still, Koloko still. That's another big dude. That's a legit 7-footer. Wow, they got to keep Maxey also 6'10". Who the fuck did they lose? They still have Rui. They have Luka and DeAndre.
Like you said, this is the reason why Kendrick Perkins is predicting that they might go to the NBA Finals, or he could see them possibly in the NBA Finals. And like I said, when the season starts rolling around and things are not looking good, right, and they become inconsistent, and then LeBron James is missing games for no reason, right, and he starts talking about, oh, my glute is irritated again, and he starts dragging that out throughout the rest of the season. Like I said, Marcus Smart goes down, DeAndre Ayton goes down, Luka Doncic goes down. All of a sudden, man, everyone starts pointing the finger. LeBron James starts reading off his stats at the end of the games. It just gets weird.
I didn't read Dalton Connect's name. I mean, Dalton Connect is a solid member of the roster.
Dalton Connect, another, like you said, man, these guys get forgotten. Once again, the great mind of J.J. Redick didn't even play Dalton Connect against the Timberwolves. He didn't even play the kid.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man.
You were losing 3-1. What are you doing waiting for? Throw the kid out there. At least he gets experience. He'll be more prepared for next season. What did you do for Dalton Connect last year? They handcuffed his development.
King Shy doesn't like Isaiah Thomas being in the top 10. I do want to know where you have Isaiah Thomas, Robin, if you know off the top of your head. I don't know where I have him, so don't even ask me.
All-time Isaiah Thomas ranking?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I've never done anything more than a top 10 all-time list. I've never thought about it that deep before. But just off the top of my head, if I had to think about where I would rank Isaiah Thomas all-time, ooh, man, it's tough, man. I mean, he probably in that top 35 range for me, man. I would say somewhere around there, top 30. I think Isaiah Thomas, like I said, that could be low for a lot of people, but there's so many great players, man. And to me, Isaiah Thomas, even when we think about the great point guards, I mean, my God, man, he's tough. It's tough to rank him, and like I said, anything higher than that for me.
Bill Paxton was also in True Lies. A few people said yes, and we've been talking about Schwarzenegger, and once again, Schwarzenegger was in True Lies and in Terminator with Paxton. Paxton was in Tombstone. That is also true. Yep. That dude was in a lot. Not necessarily as the main character, but he was in a lot. Titanic. He was in Titanic. Yep. Predator 2.
Like you said, man, he's one of those guys where, they used to have that trivia, Paxton or Pullman, right? Oh, Paxton or Pullman. Because they were in these random movies, like you said, random parts. Never really the main guy all the time, but always like the second or third guy.
Bill Paxton was in Commando? He was? Paxton was in Commando?
Paxton and Commando. I don't know.
I don't remember that.
I'm going through the movie in my mind.
There was a Weasley little white dude that gets killed, thrown off the cliff or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's not him.
It's not even
I don't
close.
think he was driving the SWAT truck in the movie when they blow the SWAT truck on the side. Yeah, I don't know if he was in Commando.
Yeah.
Someone's saying, yeah. I mean, maybe he was. I'm trying to remember the movie right now. Yeah, we might need to Google that one.
I am. Vernon Wells was the big bad guy. Alyssa Milano was in it. Oh shit!
Oh, that's right. He was the Navy guy, right? He was the guy reading the sonar.
Shit.
Did someone say that in the chat?
No, I looked it up. But
yeah, I think someone. Oh, shout out to Justin mentioned. I think it was a Coast Guard, right? He was a Coast Guard Cutter Marauder, because the Cutter is a type of Coast Guard ship, and they were on the Cutter Marauder. I remember now. Shout out to Justin Messenger and everybody who said that he was in a Commando. You guys were on the money. I completely forgot about that part.
Me too. Intercept officer is what they listed it as here. Oh, and Bill Duke. Bill Duke. He was in Predator also.
Yeah, shout out to Bill Duke, man. He was, like I said, he was in a lot of good movies too. He always played those kind of parts. He was a scary looking dude, man. I remember him from damn it. What movie was that? Oh, come on, man. Of course. I was just about to say the movie, and now I can't remember it now, man. Damn.
A little bit of the scariness of Anthony Mason.
Damn, I can't remember it now, man. Yeah, right, yeah. The Anthony Mason scariness.
All right, gentlemen, that is our time. That is our hour for Hump Day. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sports and Fitness Rants. Thank you for all the supers. And yes, I know on my Patreon, I don't have anything there. It just exists for people to start migrating. I'll start uploading to it shortly. And I will go check
shout out to you, AOH, man, again, for doing the live Wednesday afternoon. Thank you all you guys for coming through. I saw you guys mention Isaiah Thomas versus John Stockton. I probably would go with Isaiah Thomas over John Stockton, because Isaiah Thomas is a clutch time performer, man, and a big time player, man. But to me, you can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion, man. But I would go with Isaiah Thomas. So shout out to all you guys, man. Once again, man, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Catch you on the next one.